Good day, learners! Welcome back to Puerto Princesa Dream TV. I am Teacher Ann, your health educator buddy. Welcome to episode 3, quarter 3, health 9. In this episode, we will discuss on carrying and transporting an injured person. But before we move on, let's recall on your understanding about our previous lesson. Are you ready? Let's begin!
You have 2 seconds to answer each item, and when you hear the sound, that means your time is up. Now, grab your pen and paper and let's begin.
Identify the 5 kinds of open wounds.
Let's now check your answers. The correct answers are puncture, abrasion, incision, laceration, and avulsions. It seems that all of you got the correct answers. Good job, guys! It seems like your enthusiasm to learn could not wait. Am I right? Now it's time to dig what you're supposed to learn today. You'll be learning about carrying and transporting an injured person. But before we proceed to our lesson, I'd like you to focus on the objectives that you must have met before this session ends. At the end of this lesson, you're expected to identify the different types of carrying and transporting the victims. Demonstrate proper techniques in carrying and transporting an injured person. Before we get started on the lesson, let's try to answer the following questions. Here's what you should do. Directions. Read and analyze the sentences. Identify and write the letter of the correct answer on your answer sheet. Please remember that you have only 2 seconds to answer each question, and when you hear the sound, your time is up. Get your pen and paper. Are you ready? Let's begin! Number 1. What do you call to the injuries which are not expected, also known as accidents such motor vehicle collision, falls, poisoning, drowning, suffocation, and work-related or sports injuries? A. Accident. B. Injuries. C. Intentional injuries. And letter D. Unintentional injuries. Number 2. What type of carry is the easiest way to transport a light and small victim? A. Blanket drag. B. Chair or seat carry. C. Fireman's carry. And letter D. Lover's carry. Number 3. Which of the following is a good method of carrying victims up and down stairs through narrow uneven areas? A. Chair or seat carry. B. Hammock carry. C. Piggyback. And letter D. Shoulder drag. Number 4. Which of the following is not considered as one-man transport? A. Blanket drag. B. Hammock carry. C. Backstrap carry. And letter D. Piggyback. Number 5. Which of the following is used to transport an unconscious victim due to serious injuries? A. Blanket drag. B. Hammock carry. C. Piggyback. And letter D. Shoulder drag. That's all, class. Just keep your answers and we will check it later. Now, let's deepen your understanding on the lesson carrying and transporting an injured person. Transporting an injured person to a safer place requires great care. When doing this, a first aider must consider the following factors. 1. Weight and height of the victim. 2. Status of the victim, conscious or unconscious. 3. Environment. Safe. Floor is smooth, narrow or wide. 4. Special need considerations. Injuries of the victims. As we continue our discussion, familiarize yourselves with the following terms. Unintentional injuries can be defined as any injury that is not caused on the purpose or with intention to harm. This includes motor vehicle collisions, falls, poisoning, drowning, suffocation, and work-related or sports injuries. Transport means to move or transfer to another place. Now, let's identify the different types of carrying and transporting victims of unintentional injuries and the proper techniques on how to do it. First type is one-man transport. Under this type are fireman's carry, back strap carry, piggyback carry, shoulder full, fireman's drag or tied hand scroll, blanket drag. Fireman's carry is the easiest way to transport a light and small victim. This is how we can do the fireman's carry. Raise the victim to a standing position. Shift your weight to your right leg. Grab the victim's right hand with your right hand. Your left hand is free to judo chop. Transport your victim. Support patient's weight with your arms under patient thighs. If able, the patient clasps the hands and lean forward. If not able, grasp patient hands with yours to keep the patient from falling back. Backstrap carry. It is used when the victim is smaller than the first aider. Here's how backstrap carry is done. Place both the victim's arms over your shoulder. Cross the victim's arms, grasping the victim's opposite wrist. Pull the arms close to your chest. Squat slightly and drive your hips into the victim while bending slightly at the waist. Balance the load on the hips and support the victims on your legs. Piggyback carry. It is used when the victim is conscious. Here are the steps to do the piggyback carry. Support patient's weight your arms under the patient's thigh. If able, the patient's clasp hands and lean forward. If not able, grasp patient hand with yours to keep the patients from falling back. Shoulder pull. The shoulder pull is prepared than the ankle pull. It supports the head of the victim. The disadvantage is that it requires the rescuer to bend over the waist while pulling. Here's how the shoulder pull is done. Grasp the victim by the clothing under the shoulders. Keep your arms on both sides of the head. Support the head. Try to keep the pull as straight and in line as possible. Fireman's drag or tie hand scroll. Used when the first aider and the victim must crawl underneath a low structure or smoky room. Here are the steps to do the fireman's drag or tie hand scroll. Place the casualty face up. Cross the casualty wrist and tie them together. Kneel astride the casualty and feet arms over your head so that the casualty wrists are at the back of your neck. When you crawl, raise your shoulders high enough so that the casualty head will not bump against the neck. Blanket drag. Used when the victim is seriously injured and should not be lifted. Here's how the blanket drag is done. Place the victim on the blanket by using the lag roll or 3-person lift. The victim is placed with the head approximate feet from one corner of the blanket. Wrap the blanket corners around the victim. Keep your back straight as possible. Use your legs, not your back. Try to keep the pull as straight and in line as possible. Two-man carry, chair or seat carry. This is a good method of carrying victims up and down stairs or through narrow uneven areas when there are 2 first aiders and a chair is available. Interlock your arms with those of a second responder behind the person's legs and across his or her back. Put one arm behind the person's thighs and the other across the person's back. Lift the person in the seat form by the responder arms. Responders should coordinate their movements so they walk together. 3 or more man. Hammock carry is a method of moving a patient with 3 or more rescuers positioned on both sides of the victim. Reach under the victim and grasp one wrist on the opposite rescuer. The rescuers on the opposite will be able to grasp one wrist on the opposite rescuers. The rescuers with only one wrist grasp will use their free hands to support the victim's head and feet or legs. The rescuers will squat and lift the victim on the command of a person nearest the head, remembering the use of the proper lifting techniques. Bear alongside carry. One of the methods of transferring injured victim that uses three persons to carry the victim in one side. Insert arms under the victim's body and grasp other side of the body. A rescuer position near the head will support the victim's head. The rescuers will squat and lift the victim on the command of a person nearest the head, remembering the proper use of lifting techniques. Now that you've learned the different types of carrying and transporting an injured person and the proper techniques to perform, such as, let's have an activity that will expound your understanding towards the lesson discussed. Directions. Study the illustrations carefully. Identify the types of carrying and transporting an injured person being shown. Choose your answer from the box. Then write the letter of your answer on your activity notebook. Let's start. A. Blanket rug. B. Chair or seat carry. C. Fireman's carry. D. Hammock carry. E. Piggyback carry. And letter D. Shoulder full. Time is up. Let's check your answers. Let's see how you answer the questions. Your score of 4 or 5 is commendable. If you got 3 or less, you can practice answering the table again later. Let us now proceed to the next activity. At this time, we'll have another activity that will test your understanding and will measure what you gained from the lesson. Directions. Complete the sentence by filling the correct words to supplement the thought of the statement. Choose from the word full your best option. Write your answer on your activity notebook. 1. These are 3 first aiders use a hammock to hold the person horizontal. This kind of 3 or more man transport is called blank. 2. When there are 2 first aiders and the chair is available, a 2-man transport is referring to a blank. 3. This is prepared than the ankle full. It supports the head of the victim. The disadvantage is that requires the rescuer to bend over their waist while fulling. It refers to blank. 4. A method of transferring injured victim that uses 3 persons to carry the victim in one side is called blank. 5. This is used when the victim is seriously injured. This 1-man transport is known as blank. How do you find the activity? Exciting? That's very nice. Now, let's check your answers. I hope you got all the correct answers. I have a question for all of you to ponder. What do you think is the importance of knowing and applying proper techniques in carrying and transporting the victim of unintentional injuries? Let's now move on to another exciting activity. We're almost done with our lesson today. Hence, it's time to sum up all that you've learned from the topic. This time, you're going to write the word pack if the statement is true and blap if the statement is incorrect. Ready? Let's start! Fireman's drag or tie-hand scroll is used when the first aider and the victim must scroll underneath a low structure or smoky room. Blanket drag is used when the victim is seriously injured. Hammock carry is used to hold a person horizontally with 1 first aider only. Chair or seat carry is used when there are 2 first aiders and the chair is available. A first aider must have to undergo proper training before saving the victim. We're almost done with our lesson. Here are the answers for this activity. Let's now check your answers. The answers for number 1 is pack. Number 2 is pack. Number 3 is love. Number 4 is pack. Number 5 is pack. How are you doing so far? That's great! If you perfectly got the correct answer. At this juncture, we will now move on to our last activity. Get ready for our final test. Directions. Read and understand the following sentences. Write the correct answer on your answer sheet. Number 1. What do you call to the injuries which are not expected, also known as accidents such motor vehicle collision, falls, poisoning, drowning, suffocation, and work-related or sports injuries? A. Accident. B. Injuries. C. Intentional injuries. Letter D. Unintentional injuries. Number 2. What type of carry is the easiest way to transport a light and small victim? A. Blanket drag. B. Chair or seat carry. C. Fireman's carry. Letter D. Lover's carry. Number 3. Which of the following is a good method of carrying victims up and down stairs through narrow uneven areas? A. Chair or seat carry. B. Hammock carry. C. Piggyback. And letter D. Shoulder drag. Number 4. Which of the following is not considered as one-man transport? A. Blanket drag. B. Hammock carry. C. Backstrap carry. And letter D. Piggyback. Number 5. Which of the following is used to transport an unconscious victim due to serious injuries? A. Blanket drag. B. Hammock carry. C. Piggyback. And letter D. Shoulder drag. Time is up! Let us now check your answers. Amazing! You have shown mastery for our today's lesson. Keep doing great, class. Please submit your answers or activity notebook to your teacher.
Congratulations, students! You completed the task of this episode. Great job! Once again, I am Ma'am Ann, your teacher in this episode of Health Education 9.